It's 12/12. Okay. 2 years ago, I left Amazon as a FEE2, whatever that means. I was just like a senior front end engineer. And I left because of the return to office. It was kind of bullshit what they did. I'll maybe make another video on that because, yeah, a lot happened in that, but I don't feel like going into it. And so I decided to quit instead of moving to Seattle. And instead of going out and getting another job, I decided to do other things. My wife started working. And she got pregnant with our second. So I took on more of like the household tasks and chores. Sorry, I'm distracted. I'm not good at. No, I take that back. Okay. I don't do these talking videos often, and I don't like the videos that you always see and that go viral and stuff. Like the people very charismatic and they talk like this, and like I don't know. It's not me, so I don't know sometimes if it's even worth like making these videos, but I think look at that. I'm thinking about donating my hair, but I'm gonna miss it. Look, I won't be able to do this anymore. Maybe I need to sit like this. Alright, so 2 years ago, I left Amazon. And so I was building a startup, an ed tech startup, with a co founder. We had no clients, no users, just a product he had started building, and then I kind of took over. We were using no code, Bubble. And so I was doing that. I was mentoring like new developers. Kind of, I was moving up to like mid-level developers, just mentoring, career development, things like that. On mentor crews, and that's all I was doing after I left Amazon. I was focusing more on Cleverply. That was the edtech startup. I'm still working on it, by the way, but more on that later. And so yeah, for about I don't know 7, 8 months, no 8, 9, 10 months, just working on that, enjoying not working in corporate. Like it took a few months to like fully detox from Amazon. And the goal was to reach a point where we could raise money and then pay ourselves. And so we got there. We had investors committed for 1.3 million. And then my co-founder he went through a divorce last year, and he had a misdemeanor on his background check. So when that happened, Like they backed out, so the money didn't go through. But that was right around the time that we were like about to go live with our first university. And we onboarded a bunch of agents, so we're starting to get users, we're getting data flowing through the system. It was like a lot of work to just keep things working. And yeah, so that was like March, April, May. And then I started having a lot of issues personally. You know, my wife, Tatiana, we were just going through a lot, but yeah, she was not happy that, I had been not making money for so long. Oh man, I'm tired. And so I like really worked around June, July to get some paid work. So I got a contract through my own dev agency. And I got another contract to kind of consult and be head of engineering for a startup. But there's no development work going on. They're just trying to sell right now. And then I got a staffing job, like a part-time staffing gig, doing like AI prompt engineering. So that was like July, August, September, October. And so I quit the staffing job. It was too much. And now we're starting to make progress, like on the selling front on Clever Apply. Man, yeah, it's so much. Like, talk about my mentee who's helping me on that my Code Compass project. I just need to get experience storytelling, because I have a lot to share. And so, okay, like, what do I want to share with people? Okay, I'm going back to like regular corporate work now. But the things I've gained these 2 years are invaluable. Like, I'm a totally different person now. And it's not like I'm just ending these things. Like, I've made a lot of connections. I've built my network. I have a lot more experience. Gained a lot of different skills, like being a co-founder, CTO, being an owner of a dev agency, being a head of engineering for like doing the prompt engineering, like all these things. I think it was important for me to kind of get away from the typical corporate world, especially while AI has been kind of going nuts these past 2 years. I don't think I would have been inclined to do as much with it if I was working like a steady, good paying job. And so being forced to like scrounge and stuff, like, really got me into good shape. So my point with this, I don't know why I did that. point in making this video is that you never know you could go down a path for one reason, and then once you get down that path, you realize the reason you went down it is not, what you ended up getting out of it, or like why you ended up needing to go down that path. Like, I went down this path because I wanted, A, to succeed, and like, I don't know, I had this picture that we were just going to raise money. I was just going to pay myself like a lot, and everything was just going to go perfectly, and that just like did not happen whatsoever. But I think it's going to end up going way better than I ever could have even imagined it. It just hasn't happened yet, but before I went down this path, like, I don't think I would have gone down the spiritual path if I didn't make this decision. If I found another good paying job, like I was interviewing before I left Amazon at like Slack, Reddit, The Knot, a couple like big companies. If I got one of those jobs and just kept going down the path I was on, what would have happened? I don't know. But I do know that me not getting those jobs and me doing something totally different pushed me so far out of my comfort zone that I had no other choice but to begin my spiritual journey as a way to deal with the changes. So there's something to be said about just like doing something so uncomfortable. But it's not even so, like, I was excited to do it when I started. But, like, as time went on, it got more and more uncomfortable as, like, where's the money? Like, when's the money gonna come in? Like, that's what made it really uncomfortable. But at the beginning, it was not good. It was actually very comfortable because I was like, thank God I'm not working a toxic job anymore. And I had all this hope of everything working out and me making money and none of that being an issue. But then the longer I went down the path, I'm like, backtracking and going back to the other path is becoming less and less of a viable option. So, like, the deeper down this path I got, the harder to course correct. You just have to accept it and own it. It really forced me to change in how I show up in my marriage. And as a father. Not all the changes have been good. I think there's some ways that I've changed, which just a result of who I had to become to deal with this new life. And some parts of me that were good, that I liked, had to, they died along with the other parts that were not serving me. But like I used to be a lot more silly and fun and playful, and I've kind of given up all that, and I've been very calm and stoic. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just kind of talking about whatever comes up. It's weird recording videos of yourself talking. And the first time I did it, I remember I had like a panic attack. And now I don't feel anything. And maybe that's the problem. I feel like back then it was so nerve wracking. And that's when like the good shit, when you're feeling those heavy emotions, that's how you know that's good shit. And now I don't feel much. So like I have to do something to like, push out of that comfort zone again. But like nothing's coming to mind. I'm just right now very focused on, okay, I gotta get this job, take care of my family, and the next thing will present itself. I'm not thinking too far ahead right now. But yeah, where was I going? So I'm making these videos. I want to make one about my ayahuasca experience. There's so many stories I can tell. I can tell them through writing. I can tell them through these videos, some other way, music. But the spark hasn't been there. I started like planning out writing a book, but I was using AI too much for it, and it felt weird, and so I kind of paused it. But maybe I should get back into it. I just need a new plan for how to do it. I don't know. I don't feel like talking anymore. Alright, bye.